Welcome everybody to the Anime-Versal Reviews podcast, where we review anime, just like the title says. Welcome back everyone to the Anime-Versal Review podcast with Kyle, Christine, and Brian, and we are talking Dr. Stone, the Stone Wars, episode 2-Hotline. I'm so happy to actually get Dr. Stone back, guys.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And just a quick initial take on the episode, Brian.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, this is Dr. Stone. and I this one was interesting because it had it was a chase, and I thought it was handled very well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. And that's not an easy thing to do, as they found out in Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yeah, or in the confines of essentially 15 minutes of plot, and yeah, very well done. Yeah, I agree with you on that Star Wars comment.
Christine, your initial take on the episode?
I loved it. You get a little like you were saying, like with the chase, you get some action, and it was a lot of fun. A little bit of like previous stuff with the glowing stone, and then you get something new, and it was awesome to see how excited Senku was to use it.
Oh, his new toy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to a couple of the new toys. I thought it was great. Breath of relief after last week's, mostly confusion-driven, disappointing episode. Not that it was bad, just not what we expected. But this episode was great. Like Brian said, it focused on basically the chase of Homura as she chases after Gin, Magma, and Chrome on their way to deliver the cell phone to Taiju and Yuzuriha. And it's just a fun return to Dr. Stone and why we like this show so much. Bit fast paced. I hated the double explanation that they do in the show of the chase, but anime is very exposition-y, so. Actually,
I liked the pace of it because it kind of felt like where we had left off in season 1. So it kind of it made the first episode just kind of felt a little off, like they were trying to just get things started, but it just kind of felt like, all right, we're back in, but it felt good to me.
Okay. Brian, what'd you think about the pacing?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how they were, like you said, they were telling us a lot of what they were doing, but still not really telling us what it was they were going to do. And I thought that was interesting that, even though they were laying it out for us, they were still mystery to what the plan finally was.
Yeah. And what a great plan it is. But let's go ahead and get down into the episode, guys. Like at the end of last episode, we get Gin, Magma, and Chrome as the team that's gonna go deliver the cell phone. As Kinru, Ginru, Senku, and others stay behind to distract Homura, who we all remember got set up as the scout last season, and you can see in the opening credits why she's so agile. She's a gymnast, and it's the plan goes off at first without a hitch. Bombs go off. Cell phone crew leaves. Homura is distracted, but we get Kohaku wants to chase after her. and you get this really cool whole scene where you think Kohaku might just get her, and of course she dodges out the way, and starts running off, and Kohaku can't catch her, but Homura can't lose Kohaku either, and so they kind of get herded over towards the village, and all of a sudden here comes Senku with some long cylinder in his hand on a rope, and this just shit-eating grin on his face.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. And it was funny, like, while we were watching it, like, I thought of the idea in my head of what it could be, but then you said it out loud, and it was just like, yeah. I'm like, I hope.
As soon as I saw it go up in the air, I was like, did he make a flash grenade? A flash bang? And I love it. Brian, he says it. He's like, hey, check out my shocking science item number level 2 or whatever. It's a flash grenade. Yeah. It pulls the pin, man. Christine, this really exciting opening all the way to the flash grenade going off. What'd you think?
I loved it. And the chase, of course, was great. Homura is, a scout for a reason. She's really good at what she does, and it was awesome to see. And yeah.
Yeah, Brian?
I like that they're continuing to show that in the old world, the skills, you had how these characters are using those skills in the new world to their advantage, and the whole idea of her being a gymnast and apparently, I'm assuming was probably a Olympian level or getting to it, and being able to use that, to her advantage. I think that's cool. And we've been seeing a lot of examples of that, including another character introduced later, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But I really enjoy that aspect of the show.
What'd you think of Senku's entrance and device?
Well, like you said, his the joy he took in it, that was the best part. And then at first when I'm like, well, why didn't you just knock her out? But then okay, it's all part of the plan. But everything he does, there's usually, even if you think he's screwing up, chances are he's not.
Or even if he screws up,
he has a backup exactly.
Yeah, or he can figure out a backup plan.
Yeah.
He's not a perfect character, but you get to see, he's very successful at what he does. He can think on his feet. So
yeah, I loved it. It's funny when Homura. Well, let's talk. We get Mecha Senku back. That's awesome, yes. And he teaches us a little less specific on the flashbang versus the gunpowder. But yeah, you could take what he said in the interwebs and figure it out. I like how excited he gets, and the Mega Senku scene is just great. It's everything we've been wanting since the end of last season, and it's great. Anyways, Homura of course figures out Senku's a wimp, and because he had been the one to tackle her, she made a slight attempt at appealing to his chivalry, I guess you could say, by saying watch where you put your hands, or watch where you're holding me, or whatever. And I thought it was kind of funny because he's like, no, I'm not into that right now, but after the war, sure, you can pretend I'm a sweet little boy all you want. Oh man. But we're gonna learn Homura actually has some feelings for someone. It appears. Anyways, she escapes. She pushes him off and runs off, and we get to see shocking science item number 3. Or level 3, as Senku shows us a black light.
That was cool.
I was shocked by that one, Brian.
Yeah.
Where I did not see black light coming
No.
a million miles away.
No, I did not.
I couldn't even see it if it was in front of my face, so that's just me. But yeah, I was surprised.
I do like how he shows that all of their tech, like, you know, tech begets tech. You know, they're building off of stuff that they've already had, and it makes sense that all of a sudden Senku's got a lot more items, doesn't it? I don't think there was too much invention or too many items that he had. Did you, Christine?
No, I mean, like for example, the blacklight bulb. I mean, that's not hard. He explained how you can make that, and they already know how to get glass. So
Exactly.
I'm sure, you know, he was able to figure that one out, you know, very easily. So
any worries about too much tech or things move, you know, having too many items this season, Brian, or do you think they're doing the whole you build off of what you've already built?
Exactly what you both just said. Yeah, the light. He's already mastered getting a bulb, so both of those items was basically just cool bulbs.
yeah, and the batteries.
Yeah,
so he's already done that too.
So, like you said, technology will. The more you get, the more you'll have options and be able to do other things a lot quicker. And he's at this point building. A base of science. He's teaching people. I think it makes complete sense.
Oh yeah, Kasuke, Chrome, even Ginro and Ginro and Kinro. Sorry. Hell, even Suika, I bet could do a lot of basic tasks now completely on their own. I guarantee to you that light bulbs can be made in the village without Senku or Chrome's input right now. What do you think, Christine?
Yeah, maybe not. No, I thought you said a different name, but yeah, like they're able to do a lot. They've learned a lot, and I know how I am. Learning by doing is a lot easier than just hearing someone just, you know, give you information and you're just like listening to them drone on. So I'm sure they're having fun and they're excited about all of this. So they're just, you know, absorbing that information. And yeah, for a lot of it, they don't need him for what they've already learned. But, you know, he's always, you know, coming up with new things to get excited about.
Yeah. What do you think, Brian? I think that village has definitely been led to water and they're drinking it up.
Absolutely. 100. Yeah. And even if Senku was gone, Chrome would pick up where he left off. It may be a tad slower, but they would get there eventually. So yeah, no, I think everybody, if you notice, he keeps involving everyone. And I think that's all on purpose. He wants them all to learn. Yep. He's trying to expand their knowledge base as well as, you know, gain the upper hand against the enemy.
Yeah. One of the cool things that happens here is we learn Homura is not only good at the gymnastics part, but she's good at the scouting part. She knows everyone in the village and deduces who's missing. I kind of like the fact that they're building a Kohaku Homura rivalry almost that could potentially play into a you know, friendship where they try to turn her later on, but I did see some rivalry there.
Well, yeah, that's not necessarily easy to do, but like you see two people, you know, Homura is competitive already. We already know that, being a gymnast. You know, she competed probably for a living, not just for fun, like clearly, you know, with the little scene that you see. And then we already know Kohaku as competitive. She wants to do better. She's always striving to do better. And the fact that she can't keep up and Homura can't get away, you know, it's kind of like building that, you know, dang it, I really want to get you, or I really want to get away from you, kind of thing.
I liked it. Homer figures out the plan, runs off. Everyone's afraid, but that's when the black light comes out, and Senku shows that he covered Homura in crushed up tungsten powder, which we know glows in infrared light. As they made the vacuum tubes with that element for the filaments last season. They try to track her down using that. Senku's mapping out their path. Excuse me. It's really cool to see him doing that, and that's good information to have. The route Gin takes, the route Homura takes, like it all makes great tactical sense, and I absolutely love that. His talk with Kohaku about death, though, Brian, is really, really important, I think. He asks her straight up if she's ever actually killed anyone, and she's like, no. And I think if I had to, I would hesitate. And he tells her, that's why we built the cell phone, so that you won't have to. I thought it was a great done scene. I liked the voice acting real well. It was awesome to just take that breath and hear those two talk about this. What'd you think, Brian?
Yeah, and that particular scene, we were talking about it last week, the idea of a bloodless siege, and that's, Senku's goal here, but it's come up yet again when Kohaku's basically like, well, will I have to kill? And this sort of debate. I think I don't, like I said, I don't know. I haven't looked ahead or anything, but clearly taking a life is a theme so far with the first two episodes, and I don't know what the payoff will be, but I think something's going to happen.
I was nervous this episode, since we talked about that in our preview and episode 1 chit chat about someone dying this time. Christine, what did you think about Kohaku's revelation of possibly being afraid to kill?
That's a good thing, to take a life. That's got to be, something that's, I wouldn't even know. So I was like, for me, I couldn't, but, she's already thinking ahead. She doesn't know the plan completely. So that's where her brain, of course, would go, like, what are we supposed to be doing? Like, what are we going to do exactly? Like, how are we supposed to handle all of this?
Yeah.
So
I just love Senku breaking it down to her and easing her mind, and it's a great scene.
Even his almost disgust with the sword. Like he needed to make them. Yeah. There was a purpose, but he referencing, hopefully you'll never have to use that thing on your side. He clearly is not a fan of weapons of war.
Yeah, I think he calls it a dumb thing or stupid thing like that. Yeah, good point, Brian. He does bring that up. We get a cool scene with Homura kind of reminiscing and figuring out about the dust. She mentions Hyoga, the spearman from the bridge attack in last season. So I'm guessing she's got feelings for him. I don't know if those come from their time in the stone world or their time in the past. But yeah, she's got that. And she goes off to, track keep doing her mission, track down the cell phone crew. I mean, obviously the Stone Wars is only a part of this, and there is more Dr. Stone after this chapter. What it is, I don't know. No, I'm not reading manga or anything. But are you interested in a romance that might lead to people changing sides and stuff like that, Christine? Like, is a this would be really unexpected to me. Like, of all the romances you're going to show us in this anime, the first one's going to be the bad guys.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That'd be kind of cool to see. Yeah, I really did not even think about that, but that would be interesting to do that instead.
Brian?
As long as it serves the greater story, yeah, I have no issues with that. It seems to be wanting, the show seems to be wanting to humanize the quote unquote enemies, so yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah. Like you said, as long as it serves the story and doesn't distract us, and who knows how long things will play out over. We learn that the cell phone is being used to text.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I laughed. I actually laughed at that, yeah. Yes,
that was a legitimate laugh out loud moment. They're using Morse code. Kinro is like, why is this thing constantly buzzing? Like, what, Yeah. And it's fun because you learn a little bit about what Senku's got going on. I missed the part where he actually does use the cell phone first to tip Gen off that Homura is coming. But the text messaging thing to plan a pincer attack, which he explains to Kohaku is information warfare. It's modern warfare. It's why we built this cell phone to do things like that. And so we know that they plan on basically having the cell phone crew stop or turn back some and capture her. And it's a brilliant plan. They pretend to need to set the cell phone up, revealing that they got the cell phone. Yeah. And you're scared at first because you think it's like legit, like they need to get signal up higher or whatever. And it turns out to be a trick. And when Homura figures out what it is, she hops up the tree to make sure that, it is a cell phone tower that they put up there, an antenna, and it turns out to be a bundle of sticks. She curses Gen, and Magma and Chrome bring down the tree, and down comes Homura to be caught by Kohaku, who didn't want her to die, and now they've got her successfully captured. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that. Like, I was actually caught off guard. Christy.
I didn't see it coming, and I was, of course, getting worried as she's climbing up the tree, and glad that it was a trap. But I mean, that's one thing that's great about this show is, you don't really see what's ahead. Mm-hmm. So it's great to be surprised.
Yeah. Brian, did you think that was part of the plan from the get-go?
No, not at all. No, I did not.
Cool.
And when
I love being surprised.
Yeah, completely surprised by it. And I like the fact that, and I'm curious if this will give her a change of heart, that she thought that it was going to kill her. And as she was falling, she was coming to peace with that. And the fact that it wasn't to kill her, I wonder if that'll change her thoughts. Or, I was curious about that. The fact that she went through the emotion of, oh shit, they set me up and I'm going to die.
Yep, pretty much. She was, like you said, she was going to accept it. Captured, they're going to take her back to the village as the cell phone team continues on. And we get a really poignant moment again. I think might be a good word to use. Magma and crew come upon a statue stash of Tsukasa's, and they're numbered. 33. I think there's like 100 something. There's quite a bit.
Yeah.
And they talk about, this is Sukasa's army. He's, trying to break these ones out. This is probably the order number. And Magma is like, well, why don't we just destroy them all? And that'll, stop his army. And you can see where they're like, okay, that's a plan, but it sucks, like, morally, and then Magma's like, well, we don't have to kill him. He gets smart. And he's like, let's just break their hands off. And I don't know how the science works, because these people are conscious inside the rock. So if you did break off the leg, would it be like the cracks in their skin and you could still be revived? You would just have a stump there. Like, I don't know. No.
That's probably what would happen, and that would be horrifying, especially like for those who are like in consciousness at the moment. Like if they were and someone's chopping off their hands, that'd be really scary. And so it's Anyway,
yeah,
not good.
Brian, what'd you think of this conversation and Magma's kind of like compromise between letting them live and killing them, and the fact that Gen basically talked a big game and then stops Magma and is like, these people haven't done anything yet.
It was a good moral debate, because like Magma's not wrong in terms of, hey, this would help us. But like you said, the moral dilemma, and then even by, taking off limbs or whatever, that's not fair. You have, these people have not been revived. You technically don't know what their personality is going to, be. Yeah. It is unfair. And like you said, Gin sort of stopping it. But this also reminds us, the audience, remember Magma from last season. This is a guy that was willing to kill and do a lot of horrible, horrible things. So he still got that mentality. Now he's just working, for the Kingdom of Science, but will that be a problem later? Don't know.
Yeah. Could we see him pull a Benedict Arnold and betray the Kingdom of Science for the idea of strength? I think we brought that up in the cave episode last.
We did.
During our recap. We get a warning from Gen about a guy that has outstanding hearing, and when they go to Senku's so-called gravesite, which is fake, obviously, but that's where Taiju and Yuzuriha go to mourn Senku, basically waiting on a sign, a signal, a message or something, and they explain why those two would be allowed to do that by Tsukasa. And because while Tsukasa knows that what's his name is alive, I don't know if he knows that they know that Senku's alive, but we'll see. It turns out that the guy that hears really well is that archer that was alluded to in posters and last season, and the trailers in between the seasons. He does have great hearing, because as they're trying to bury the cell phone, they hit a rock and it makes noise, and he's able to track him down a bit, and it's shown to be the guy we see in the now opening credits. They were closing credits last episode. That's at that listening station. He's got the gray hair and stuff. Looks like a young guy. But you hear him talk and say he knows that he heard someone, and off the cell phone team goes. The one thing I did wonder is right before Gen stops Magma, there's a flash of seeing a kid version or a kid looking version of the statue that was about to have its hands wrecked.
Yeah.
Do you think, Christine, that he was imagining that person as a kid and not knowing, where he's come from, or do you think maybe he knows that person?
I I don't think he knows him, but yeah, I think like, his imagination, like, oh, this is a person, they were born, they grew up, and they're stuck in stone right now. So it's like, don't hurt someone that you don't know. Don't, they haven't done anything wrong, like you said earlier. Yeah. So
the only reason why I think he might know him is the statue looks like it's going to be that red-haired guy with all of the crazy like octopus style hair going on. Brian, do you think he knows him, or do you think it's just a case of him going, "Oh, that was a kid one time"?
It could be either or. I don't know.
But it's kind of
it definitely was meant for some purpose to show us that. Whether it was just him, thinking more morally, like, "Oh, that's wrong," or he has a personal connection with the person. I don't know.
Yeah. The pretty much ends with Taiju and Yuzuriha calling Senku, and it's a sweet moment. Taiju, as soon as he hears Senku's voice, starts tearing up, and Senku talks about being close to tears himself, and as all of us have experienced here in COVID land, the missing of friends and family and stuff like that. The three of us know what it is to say goodbye to friends for years and years at a time if we ever get to see them again, So I actually I didn't tear up, but I did it hit. Brian, did it hit you? Ooh.
Yeah, and it got me thinking. Last week we talked about the recap and how they clearly seem to be building this season so that if you've never watched the show, you could jump in. And I still think to some degree that's true, but the emotion of that scene only works if you've seen the first season.
Yeah.
Yep. And definitely, having seen the first 5 episodes, which are very, very, very important. Because I tell people, you can come in on episode 5 and be okay. If you can't make it through those first few episodes, you can go to episode 5 on, and you'll be all right. Because you need at least to see Tsukasa and Senku's philosophical differences, the attempted murder and whatnot. But it did. It hit good. Christine?
Yeah. And it was funny when we were watching. I was like, he's going to start screaming, and then you were like, no, he's going to start crying. And like, no, it turns out that he did both. Yeah, kaiju, that is. Taiju, whatever. Yeah, so it was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. So, the closing credits are our new closing credits now. Excuse me. It's shows evolution and walking into cities and then into this stone world. It shows us basically human evolution to Senku into the stone world, and we get a extra shot at the temple from behind. Of where we now know that temple complex is part of Tsukasa's land. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. So guys, I thought it was great. I actually gave it an A- this week. Christine, what do you got?
I got an A.
Brian?
A.
Okay. Hey, I'll say why I gave the A-. Sorry, I wrote a minus next to Brian because I was talking about mine. I see your point on the pacing. It still threw me off a little bit, and then the double up explanation of the chase. They legitimately explained it twice with almost the exact same graphics, except they add on the part about the pincer. That was a little bit like, I was like, oh, you guys could have put something else story related in there. More especially that scene between Senku and Kohaku, or even throw in some more stuff between Kohaku and Homura. But yeah, you guys obviously did not have any major issues. Brian, any issues with this episode at all?
Not really. No, I thought it was solid.
Christine?
Yeah, same.
Cool.
No problem.
Looking at some of the themes, takeaways, guys, obviously Japan has a very complex history with warfare, and we know like Hayao Miyazaki is always been a big anti-war guy, in the Studio Ghibli films he's done have major anti-war undertones, overtones. It's a three-pronged attack: liminal, subliminal, and superliminal. Please tell me you got that joke, Brian. Tell me you get that reference, Brian. Oh my god. It's Lieutenant Smash, LT Smash in the boy band episode from The Simpsons.
Oh.
And they're talking about when Lisa discovers the hidden message in the music video in Bart's boy band, and he's like, it's a three-pronged attack, you know, it's liminal, subliminal, superliminal. What's superliminal? Here, I'll show you. He goes to the damn window, yells at Otto, hey, you, join the Navy. Oh, okay. Anyways, I think there's a lot of Western aim at this, because of all the anti-bloodshed, anti-war stuff, and this is at a time where Japan has people in their government that want to expand the military again, that want to get rid of the self-defense only military attitude, and there's those that don't want it. You know, they're like afraid of what will happen if Japan tastes power again, you know, and I get that, but we also have the Christian cross to mark Senku's grave, and let's not forget the American singer.
Yeah, the cross surprised me a little bit. I wonder why it was, why they used it.
You can't really put a Buddhist swastika there, Brian.
I mean,
I think because it's like easy to build.
Yeah.
Just make it easy. Just stick in the ground and then just tie another one.
I think, as far as on the business side, I think it is to make it very accessible for Westerners and make it obvious to us that it's a grave marker, because Japanese gravestones, and it was a joke about the Buddhist swastika, because Buddhism does use a version of that in their religion. Fucking Nazis took it and did shit. But anywho's, we talked about the American influence and the whole plan of saying the Americans are coming. It's so weird, and I'm excited to see how it goes. Any other thoughts on how much Western / America is playing into this? Anyone?
No,
Brian?
I think you.
Not really, but yeah, I definitely every episode. So these two episodes have had something where it had me scratch my head, like, why did they use that? Unless we're trying to, maybe it does very well in the U.S. I really don't know. So yeah.
Well, we love it, so that's all that matters. As far as inventions, I have no idea what's coming up. I wanted to see if maybe we'd be able to figure out some things. We know we're getting a tank most likely because of the credits, but that could be a throw off. They gave away all the stuff unbeknownst to us in the first season's credits. Maybe this time it's a distraction. I don't know, but I don't know, guys. You guys have any idea what they might do next?
I have no idea.
No, as long as by season 6 it's a mecha anime.
Yes, absolutely. I do think we are going to see steam engines and vehicles, though for sure. I do. Anyways, We have a great interview with Kevin Kraft of the Mad Scientist Party Hour on Patreon. It's a podcast. It's cool. It's fun. Check it out. And he's also on the Jason Ellis show, and that'll be on LRMornings on Monday, guys. We did our first ever live episode of the Cantina, which is available both in podcast form and excuse me, YouTube in video, formerly live video, but it's still recorded there. And it's great if you guys could hit that subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. Christine does not do social media, but Brian does. So Brian, please tell the good folks how they can help you out.
You can find me on YouTube, and the channel is PulpMythos. That's PulpMythos. It's one word, and we review different shows. We're going to be starting Snowfall later this next week.
Okay, there you go. You guys can find me at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, at that one Kyle Malone on Instagram. That's the number 1. And thank you guys so much for listening. Get excited for next week, because I think this show is going to put the pedal to the stone and go full speed ahead.
Yep.
All right, guys. Bye.